Hi, this is audio part 2 for Adobe Connect 101. We're going to be looking in this video at how we can sync up a conference line with Adobe Connect. So I'm going to start off by going to my meeting rooms. You'll recall that we created a meeting room for commodity management. And I'm going to go to the Edit Information tab because that's what's going to give me access to my audio conference settings. So at the bottom of the page, I have my audio conference settings all laid out. You'll recall that in the last video, we looked at audio conference settings through VoIP, and so that forced people to use their computer microphone and their computer speakers to connect to the audio of the meeting. In this one, we've actually synced up a conference line, in this case the TOPS conference line, with Adobe Connect, and we'll be using that for the meeting audio, so people can connect to the meeting using the dial-in option. Now you can't use just any conference line with Adobe Connect. Only special conference lines are compatible. Most of those free conference call lines and stuff like that are not compatible with Adobe Connect. So if you're interested in syncing up another type of audio conference line with Adobe Connect, I'd encourage you to investigate that a little bit to see if it's compatible, and then to set up an audio profile for it if it is. So now that I've already got things in place, I'm going to go to Save here, and I'm going to go into my meeting room. Okay, and when that starts up, when my meeting gets launched, it right away asks me if I want to start the audio conference for this meeting. So I'm going to click Start, and you'll hear it dialing in. Not the actual dial tone, but the voice that comes after it.
Thank you. If you are the leader, press star now.
So the conference line is set up just to call in as a participant. So now that the elevator music's going on in the background and I'm waiting for the conference to begin, in the room here I'm actually going to dial into the conference as a host. So I'm just going to click on the little phone icon here so I can remember the number, and then I'm going to go to my speakerphone here and I'm going to dial up the conference line.
Welcome to Reservationless Plus Conferencing. Enter your conference code, followed by the pound or hash sign. Thank you. If you are the leader, press star now.
Okay, I'm the leader, so I'm going to press star.
Please enter your
Enter my PIN.
To start or join your conference, press 1.
Start my meeting.
You will now be placed into
And I have
conference.
to listen to a little bit of
To
talk
mute your
for a
line,
while.
press star 6. To unmute, press pound 6. After joining the call, to record the conference for those who may miss this call, or for future playback, press star 2.
Okay, so now that I'm dialed into my conference and it started, I'm going to click Done. And then I want to disconnect my audio from my computer, because otherwise I'm going to get a little bit of interference. So I don't want, if I'm in the conference room, I want to keep the audio going on the Spider phone or whatever conference phone that I have activated. But I want to make sure that my audio is muted up here in Adobe Connect, so I'm, it's not feeding through and looping that sound over and over again. I'm just getting audio from one of those sources. The nice thing about a conference line is that if somebody doesn't have a good internet connection, they can connect to the conference dialing in. But the drawback of it is, if you want to do breakouts, you can't really do breakouts with people who are dialed in through the conference line. It'll take them into separate rooms, but the audio won't necessarily follow. So that can be a challenge. If you're going to do breakouts, I'd suggest not using the audio conference option. And second, it can be a challenge muting people because if people are dialed in through their computer, you can control whether their microphones are on or off as the host. But when they're dialed in through the conference line, it's pretty much a free-for-all. You don't have much control over that. So those are two things to keep in mind. And third, you notice that when the audio conference settings were up here, that it doesn't give them the dial-in information. So you just want to make sure that that's accessible to participants. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just type it up here in the corner. So you can type the phone number and then your PIN up here. And that way people will have access to that information and they'll be able to follow it, to use that info to dial in. Okay? And that's it for syncing up your conference call line to Adobe Connect.